Hello, and welcome to our virtual 2020 World Diabetes Day celebration at Greenbrier Elementary School. My name is Rajia Arbab, and I am a second-year medical student. I'm also a member of the Integrated Physiology and Diabetes Translational Research Team at the UVA Medical Center. Today, we wanted to speak to you a little bit about World Diabetes Day, what diabetes is, and why it's so important to learn about it. So today, again, we will be talking a little bit about World Diabetes Day and why it's so important to take care of our bodies and exactly how we can do that. After this lesson, we will also have 2 activities. We will be drawing a picture and we will have a yoga lesson. Also, we wanted to give you all presents for submitting your drawings later today. Here is a picture of Dr. Rita and Andy Basu's lab at UVA that focuses on diabetes research. The light blue circle is a symbol for diabetes and World Diabetes Day. Now, you might be wondering, what is diabetes and why is it so important to learn about it? Let's get started. It was nearly 100 years ago that Sir Frederick Banting and his medical student Charles Best discovered how to extract insulin, which is a hormone, from the pancreas of pigs and cows. Before this discovery, a diabetes diagnosis was considered to be a lot more dangerous. The discovery of insulin was life-changing for doctors and people with diabetes. The discovery of insulin meant that children and adults with diabetes could live easier, healthier lives. Now, we celebrate World Diabetes Day on November 14th, which is Sir Frederick Banting's birthday. So, in order to understand diabetes a little bit more, we need to understand what happens when we eat. When we eat, our body turns the food that we eat into glucose, which is a sugar. When glucose, or sugar, enters our organs, that's how we get energy. In order to get the energy we need throughout the day, glucose must go from our blood and into our organs. In order to get glucose into our organs and our cells, we need this hormone called insulin. Remember, insulin was what Frederick Banting discovered years ago. We need insulin in order to make this energy that we need. Therefore, when some people's insulin is not working properly, they can get diabetes. There are 2 types of diabetes, type 1 and type 2. Type 1 diabetes is when the blood does not have enough of the hormone called insulin that we talked about. Kids can get it too. When this happens, there is too much sugar or glucose in the person's blood and not enough sugar going into their organs. This means that they can feel tired because the body is not getting the energy that it needs because the sugar is staying in the blood. Because the sugar is staying in the blood, people with diabetes have to check their blood sugar many times a day using glucose monitors. Also, because their bodies don't have enough insulin, they can take insulin as a medication. All thanks to Sir Frederick Banting's discovery of insulin 100 years ago. Now, let's watch a short video.
Hello there. Welcome to the desk of Dr. Smarty, a growing library of information dedicated to educating you and your family on the world of health and wellness. Oh great, a question has just come in. Dear Dr. Smarty, during basketball practice, my friend Pam usually has to eat a snack. She said it's because she has type 1 diabetes. Could you explain what this means? From Angela D. in Maine. I'd be happy to, Angela. This is my granddaughter, Laura. Like Pam, she also has type 1 diabetes. In fact, thousands of kids all around the world are living with diabetes and are able to live happy and healthy lives. To better understand it, let's take a look at what happens when you eat food. When you eat food, your digestive system breaks it down into nutrients that help keep you healthy and strong. These nutrients are broken down even more into a sugar called glucose, which makes its way into your small intestines. Think of glucose as tiny balls of energy your body uses to keep on moving. While your body digests your food, your pancreas, which is a large flat gland found right behind your stomach, makes and releases a hormone called insulin. Insulin meets glucose in your small intestines, which is a long skinny tube in your stomach that lets nutrients get into your bloodstream. Once insulin and glucose are in your bloodstream, your heart pumps it all around your body through your veins. Why is this important? Well, think of insulin as the keyhole that glucose needs to get inside your cells. Once glucose enters the cells, it energizes them, helping to keep you up and running, happy and healthy. But for people with diabetes, their body either cannot make insulin or cannot use it the right way. Because of this, the glucose builds up in their bloodstream and can make them sick. This is called having an autoimmune disease, which means your body is fighting against itself. When someone has type 1 diabetes, it means two things. The first is that their body cannot create insulin. The second is that their body cannot control the amount of insulin in their blood. This means their body isn't as energized as it should be. They need to get insulin every day by getting small, painless shots from an insulin pump. Okay, here we go. Hey, don't worry now. It doesn't hurt a bit. Kids with type 1 diabetes also need to check the amount of glucose in their blood every day. To check this level, they need to take a teeny tiny droplet of blood. Don't worry, it doesn't hurt. And put it into a device called a glucose meter. The drop goes in and bam! It tells us the number. The perfect number is between 80 and 120. If the number is higher than 120, don't worry. All it means is that you need to take some insulin. If the number is lower than 80, it just means you need to eat something. Depending on this number, they may also need to eat more snacks during the day and visit the school nurse to take insulin, especially before lunchtime. They should also take care to get plenty of exercise and see their doctor regularly to make sure they are in tip-top shape. But of course, we should all be eating well, playing often, and keeping our bodies healthy. As you can see, kids with type 1 diabetes can run, play, and smile just like you and me.
So, as Dr. Smarty mentioned, there are two types of diabetes, type 1 and type 2. Type 1 can be found in children, while type 2 is mainly in adults. Type 2 is mainly in adults, and it can happen when we don't eat healthy and exercise enough. Type 2 diabetes is when our insulin is not working the right way, while type 1 diabetes is when there is not enough insulin in our bodies. When type 2 diabetes happens, we can feel very sick because our blood sugar is too high. So either with type 1 or type 2 diabetes, it has a lot to do with the hormone insulin. If insulin is not working properly, or if there is not enough insulin in our bodies, we can get really sick and get diabetes. That is why Sir Frederick Banting's discovery of insulin 100 years ago is so important. Luckily, we can prevent type 2 diabetes by eating healthy and exercising enough. That is why taking care of our bodies is so important to prevent diseases like diabetes. And this is also why nutrition is so important. Now, you might be wondering, what is nutrition? A healthy diet does not just mean not eating too much. It means we should eat food that has enough nutrients. Our friend Amanda Terillo will teach us a little bit more about nutrition.
Hi everyone, my name is Amanda Terillo, and I am here to talk about healthy eating for World Diabetes Day. So as I mentioned briefly, I'm a registered dietitian, and I love being a dietitian because I really love working with food and learning all about different cultures of food, and I think it's just a great way to connect to other humans and also to connect to our land through food. So healthy eating, it means, a bunch of different things, but one fun thing about food is that, there's a lot of different types of food. And it's important to just try all different types of food because each different food has a lot of nutrients. So nutrients meaning things that just make us really healthy. So I'm sure you all know what fruits and vegetables are. So it's really fun to try many different types. Right now we're getting into the fall, so we could eat some fall seasonal vegetables like squashes, pumpkins. Those are really tasty and yummy. Other food groups that are going to be really important are something called carbohydrates. You may have heard about carbohydrates before, but they provide us energy. They help us with good digestion. They keep us full. And just like fruits and vegetables, there are so many different types of carbohydrates. So there's things like whole grains, whole grain breads, there's rice, there's something called quinoa, barley, potatoes, corn, so many different types of carbohydrates, and they're really important to include in our plate. Another important food group is going to be protein. So protein helps build muscles, it makes enzymes and hormones, And some really delicious proteins there are. There's obviously the meats and chicken, poultry, fish. And of course, there's also vegetarian protein, so meaning non-meat, and those could be beans, lentils, other legumes, tofu, and those are also really important to put on your plate. Other important foods are going to be healthy fats. So those could be oils, avocados, nuts and seeds. And and again, it's just really important to have all those concepts on the plate. And when you eat a balanced plate, you're just going to feel really good and have a lot of energy. Water, staying hydrated is also a really important part of good nutrition. So, we don't want to wait till we're thirsty to drink water, but drinking it throughout the day, it's going to help our cells talk to each other per se, so we can have healthy bodies. And it also keeps us from being dehydrated, and that's going to be really important. So eating, your breakfast, lunches, dinners, and then some snacks in between is just a really great way to have a lot of energy and to stay strong.
So, as Amanda mentioned, different food groups are really important. Some different food groups are vegetables, carbohydrates, proteins, and fat. Plus, water is really important. It is so necessary to get a balanced diet in order to have all of these different food groups in order to keep us healthy and make sure our diet is nutritious. Now, there are two types of foods. There's healthy food and there is sometimes food. What makes healthy food healthy? Well, as Amanda said, healthy food is food that has enough nutrients. Nutrients are what make the foods we eat healthy and give us the energy we need to grow. We should be eating healthy food as much as possible because that is what our body needs. Then there are foods that are sometimes food, like soda, sugar, and fries, that we should not eat that often because they do not have many nutrients. And in excess, these foods can be really bad for our bodies, and these unhealthy foods can cause us to have greater risks for diseases like diabetes in the future. We should eat foods with nutrients in order to be healthy. But you might be wondering, how will I know how to make a healthy meal? Don't worry, we are going to learn exactly how. In order to create a healthy plate, we need 4 parts: vegetables, fruits, whole grains, and protein. Half of our plate should always be fruits and vegetables. Vegetables should always be the biggest part of every meal. Next, 1/4 of our plate can be whole grains. The 4th part is protein. Once we've made our plate, it's also important to remember to drink plenty of water and stay active. Whenever in doubt, the best drink to have with your meal is always water. Vegetables are the most important part of our meal, and they should be the biggest part of our plate. The more vegetables you can eat, the better. Examples of vegetables are broccoli, spinach, asparagus, eggplant, and cabbage, and many, many more. Eating those leafy green vegetables is especially important because they clean our body of unhealthy toxins. Next, we have fruit. Examples of fruit are bananas, apples, oranges, watermelon, grapes, and much, much more. Fruits give us healthy sugar for energy. It's better to eat whole fruit than to drink them from juices with too much sugar. Next up, we have whole grains. Examples of whole grains are whole wheat, brown rice, and quinoa. Whole grain gives us fiber to keep our bodies full. Usually, brown grains are healthier than the white grains because white grains are usually more processed and unhealthier. Brown pasta, bread, and rice are usually much healthier than white pasta, white bread, or white rice, for example. So whenever in doubt, keep your grains as brown as possible. Proteins are the last category that we will talk about. Again, it should be 1/4 of your plate, and they're so important because they help us grow muscle and grow stronger. Examples of healthy protein are soy, poultry, fish, nuts, eggs, beans, nuts, seeds, and peas. The sometimes proteins are unhealthier proteins, and they are hamburgers, beef, and pork. that we should try to limit our intake of because they're not as good as the healthier proteins. When in doubt, white protein tends to be healthier than red proteins. Now for drinks. As a general rule, it is best to drink water with every meal, between meals, and really as much as possible. Did you know that 70% of our bodies are made up of water? Whenever in doubt, water is always the best choice. Over time, drinking sodas and other sugary drinks can lead to diseases like diabetes. That is why it is so important to eat healthy foods with nutrients. Eating too much sugar and food that is unhealthy can turn into fat in our bodies. If we have too much fat, that can make us get diseases like diabetes and make us feel very sick. Eating right is important, but exercise is also important. For kids, we should be exercising for 60 minutes every day. There are so many kinds of ways to exercise and play, and you should find the type of exercise that is most fun for you. Nutritious food makes us healthy and happy. Also, it allows us to grow. Eating healthy and exercising can help us prevent diseases like diabetes. Now, it's time for our first activity. Let's get moving. We are going to follow a 5-minute exercise from our yoga instructor, Sarah. So stand up and let's get moving.
Hi, my name is Sarah. I'm a yoga and Pilates teacher in Charlottesville, Virginia, here at Posture Studio. We're just going to move a little bit today. So the first thing I want you to do is just stand up, spread your legs nice and wide, and then make your body like a star shape. Reach through your fingertips, look up at the sky, and now we're going to pretend to be a seashell. So you're going to step your feet together and then wrap your arms around your legs into a nice, tiny little ball. Then come back out. Big starfish. And then down low. Little seashell. Do that again. Big starfish. Little seashell. Do one more. Big starfish. Little seashell. Get down to the ground now. We're going to get onto our hands and our knees and then come into downward facing dog. So lift your hips up high towards the ceiling. You can move your knees and your ankles. You can move your hips and then come down again like a dog. You're going to lift your leg up behind you and then bring it in towards your belly. And then lift it up again and in towards your belly. Do the other leg now. Lift it up, into your belly, and up. Good. Into your belly. Push your hips back over your heels and just rock. Up and back. Up and back. Up and back. Then you're going to step your feet up, come up to stand again, and we're going to do some swimming like we're swimming in the ocean. So you're going to swim back with one arm and then the other. You can look up at the sky, move your feet, move your hands, move your ribs. And then let's swim forward now. Forward. Lift up your feet. Paddle your hands. Move your spine, your ribs, knees, your ankles. Just a couple more. Keep swimming. Keep swimming. Keep swimming. Keep swimming. Good. Stand up. And then we're going to balance like a tree. Stand on one leg and then lift the other leg up off of the ground. You can cross this over your other leg here. Put it on your thigh. And then start to grow some branches out of your tree. Look around the room. Maybe you might get dizzy. Maybe it might knock you off your balance. That's okay. Good. And then step that foot down. Do the other one. Lift the opposite leg up. And then put it on your leg or cross it over. And then grow some branches on your tree. Woo! Like maybe the wind is swaying the branches of the tree. Good. Step it down. You're going to separate your legs nice and wide. And then you're going to reach to one corner and then down to the other foot. Reach up to the top corner towards the ceiling and then down across your body. Do two more. Up towards the ceiling, down towards the ground. Let's do the other side. Reach up towards the ceiling and then down towards the ground. And up and down. All the way up. Reach, reach. All the way down. Last one. All the way up. And then all the way down. Lift up. We're going to take 3 big breaths. Bend your knees. Lift your arms up. Breathe in. Good. Exhale. Bring your hands towards your side. Bend your knees. Lift up. Take a big, big breath, like a sunshiny breath. Let your hands drift down. And then last one. Make a big sunshine circle with your arms. And then down towards your side.
I hope you all enjoyed your yoga lesson from Sarah and learned a little bit about yoga for those of you who haven't tried it before. Now it is time for our activity. Please make a drawing of your favorite healthy food or your favorite exercise. We will be posting some of your drawings to the UVA website. Plus, we are offering prizes for you for submitting a drawing. You can either create your drawing on your computer or on a paper and then upload the picture to the Google form. I hope you enjoyed learning with us today. Our lab at the University of Virginia Medical Center thanks you for your attention. And again, thank you for celebrating World Diabetes Day with us. Goodbye.